Well, hello again and welcome back to another video. I'm back on the Sealine, as you can probably see. I was outside working on the boat and it's come on to rain. It's always the way, isn't it, in this country, in the UK, when you've got a few free minutes and you think, oh, I'll go and get that job done. And it's come on to rain quite hard, so I've aborted the inside jobs. And I just wanted to say, I think amazingly enough, I noticed the other day that I'm now over 100 videos on this little YouTube channel of mine, which is quite amazing. It started off as a bit of a fun thing, just sharing some of my interests. I really honestly didn't think anybody else would be interested with what I put up here. And it's amazed me. I just want to thank everybody again for their support. There's people who have subscribed, people who have asked some brilliant questions. I love trying to answer people's questions or queries if I can. I don't know everything about the subjects covered in my little channel here, but it's been wonderful. So thank you to everybody, and I'm amazed that I've managed to somehow create 100 videos, or I think this is the 101st, and that I've nearly got sort of 40,000 views, or getting up that way, which is beyond belief. And so thank you to everybody. But yeah, we're on the Sealine. I was working outside on the boat. I was balancing right on the deck, trying to do a job with some windscreen rubbers, which we'll probably cover in another video. Hence I have my life jacket on, as you can see, which I should take off in a minute. Now I'm in the cabin. Like I've said before, I wear when I'm working. I'm here on my own. There are boats at the side of me, but I don't think there's anybody on those. The marina is quite quiet here. It's an extremely deep lake. It was a gravel pit. So it's just, why not? Why wouldn't you? This boat is now approaching 20 years old, and although I have to say it doesn't really show its age, I'm delighted with how it, the condition it is in, and it has obviously been very well looked after in its life, I have to say. But I thought I'd show you one or two little things that you might find on boats, you might not. It might help some, it might not. So we'll move on, and I'll get ready and then move on to showing you these little things that I've found. So right, we've moved into the heads compartment, as we call them on boats, or the toilet compartment to you and me. And I think for a relatively small boat as this is, I think it's only about 23 foot 9, in total. I think it's called a 24 foot boat, but I think it is just a little bit under 24 foot boat, so it's a relatively very short glass fibre boat. I do think this has got quite a nice toilet compartment. First of all, you have the little wash basin up there, which has the shower there, which obviously you can fill the basin, or it is totally waterproof in here with a drain and a pump out, so you can either hold the shower, it's probably just as hold the shower and have a shower in here. The toilet on this boat is a Japsco, what I used to refer to as a sea toilet. Now obviously most narrowboats or inland GRP cruisers wouldn't have this type of toilet fitted, although I think they have become quite popular in a style of this on probably more of the narrowboats that have the pump out tanks, because they are this is virtually a proper porcelain toilet like you'd have in your house. It's got the wooden seat, and it's a very nice unit. I have no idea how much these cost, but they look very well made, and I would not think they're cheap. Interestingly enough, this boat, obviously when it was new, had the system, like so many boats, whereas if we switch the light on for me, if we pan round and come into the berth here, I don't know how well you'll see this because it gets very dark in there, but there are there 2 seacocks, and a seacock is a through the hole fitting to let water in or water out, and you can see those there, both with ball valves on them. One, the bigger one at the back there, has been capped off, which I had done when I bought the boat. Now what used to happen, obviously when the boat was new, and it was the boat for in its first 5 or 6 years was on the Hamble, on the Solent, down at Portsmouth and Southampton area. This toilet would just pump out into the sea via the big seacock that's been capped off there. The smaller seacock brings water in to flush the toilet. I bought the boat from a couple that had it for a number of years on the Norfolk Broads. They had had this toilet modified, and it now in the engine compartment, which I'll find a picture and show you, there is a plastic, and I don't know how many litres it is, I have no idea, it looks quite big. There is a plastic holding tank now, so this toilet, rather than flush straight into the sea, river, wherever you are, this actually flushes into a holding tank, and then you have a pump out deck fitting that you can go to any marina, and I think here the pump out is around about 12-15 pounds to have the tank pumped out. So obviously that is a lot more environmentally friendly. So it's a nice toilet, takes a little bit of getting used to with the pump, but you know, I wouldn't change it out. You could shut the seacock off, cap the smaller seacock off like the big one, and then take this out and then stand, say, a porta potty toilet in there, which, you know, is widely used by many of the smaller boats on the inland waterways, and they're very good. I have one on the Brum Tug, on the narrowboat. But as I say, as this was here, and it's part of the boat, and I quite like it, and it seems to fit in here very well, and it works extremely well, you know, I have left it. I think this isn't the original toilet. I think this was probably replaced when the boat was on the Broads, when the new tank was put in. This toilet does not look as though it's had an awful lot of use, and it certainly doesn't look 20 years old. But one or two, as I say, I found one or two little niggles about these taps. As you can see, that top, that hot one has still got its cap on. I've had to have this underneath here is a Y fitting where this hose comes off, and it's a brass Y fit. It's sort of, you know, with a hot and a cold feed coming into it, and then there's a Y off it to feed the shower head. Now originally that Y fitting was made in plastic, and that's something to check on if you have, particularly if you have a Sealine boat. I don't know whether this was used on, it might have been used on Fairlines as well, I'm not 100% sure of that, it might not have been, but certainly on all the smaller Sealines, this Y fitting, this plastic Y fitting on the brass tap body is very liable to break. And I think when I had the boat trailered over here, mine just decided to disintegrate on the road journey. I turned the pump on and the pump wouldn't stop cycling. The pump was, you know, continuing as water pumps do when you've got a tap open. And obviously I thought there's something not right here, and then I saw water running out always, and and it was running eventually onto this mattress, which is the side of it. It's running down past that piece of headlining there and that bit of cloth headlining there, and actually running down into this corner. There was a water, so I thought, oh, something. So obviously, naturally, I switched the pump off straight away, and this little Y fitting, this plastic Y fitting on the brass tap body had basically split. You can buy, I think it's something like the grandiose price of £30 something, and they have to, why they are so expensive, they are virtually made for this, solely for this one fitting. There's another one on the transom shower of this boat which is still okay, but I did buy two at the time, and you change the plastic fitting out for a brass fitting and then put it all back as is, and it worked fine. But this year I've noticed these taps sort of push on like that. Did you say? Oh, perhaps I wasn't holding up the camera very well. These taps sort of push over like that, and I think with time, as you can see, somebody has, over the years, somebody has tried to put some little screws in there. There again, these are brass spines, you know, brass levers, or whatever you want to call them, and this is a plastic insert that fits into. And I think with age, what happens, the plastic spreads and goes brittle, and then you cut, the tap just spins round on here. It's just totally spinning. The tap will not turn that brass spine any longer. So obviously, with all boats, I think, you know, whoa, just a little bit of thought there. You know, why perhaps a metal insert couldn't have been made for the taps. I suppose it's all about cost and manufacture at the time. I don't know how long they thought these boats, the life of these boats, were going to be, but it would seem so easy to me to make a metal insert, obviously to fit onto the brass, so you've got metal on metal. But nonetheless, if you have a Sealine or any boat that uses these taps, I think they were used on other boats, you can buy replacements of these tap heads, and I've got two coming, and I think they're about £9.90 each. So as far as prices go, they're not that ruinous, really. You know, I think that's quite reasonable, really. So we'll see how they work and how they fit. The tap spines are moving quite freely. I've tried them with pliers and they do move, so it's purely, I think, the plastic has, with age, has got, you know, has spread, and the outer sealing ring has gone brittle, and one of them has broke off as well. And as I say, looking at that, somebody has tried to wedge screws in them at certain points. I can't get it off without a screwdriver now. So yeah, that's one little fault I've noticed, you know, you to be wary of. But I mean, it's not a disaster. You could always change the whole unit out if you wanted and put something more modern, more chromy, you know, put a new shower unit in there. But I like it. I like to try and keep the boat original. I think it's a really quite, you know, cleverly designed, you know, toilet space on this boat for a very, like I say, for a very small boat. Yeah, I've had a lot of boats in my time, and they always seem very tight, and this one seems, you know, there's plenty of room in there. Even to have a shower, you could, an adult could easily stand and have a shower, and it's got a light fitting up there, it's got a mirror across there, so all in all, it's got another little mirror there. It's quite a decent size, usable, you know, toilet compartment, or heads as we should call it. So yeah, that's just a little, if you've got problems, you know, as I say, if you have a leak, if you have water running out, and your pump won't stop cycling, or your pump won't switch off, basically, on a Sealine, on one of the smaller boats in particular, check either the transom shower or this shower fitting, and you'll probably find that it's the little plastic T-piece that comes off to feed the shower head under there. This is if we pull this out, you see this is on a pipe which screws on, that screws on to the plastic piece, or now in my case the brass piece that I've replaced the plastic with, and obviously to get to do that job you have to take this head lining down. It's held in with screws on covers, and you have to take that head lining down in the berth, and then that in that far corner, which luckily there's a light there, that reveals the it's all the plumbing on this boat is all done with the push fittings, so it's quite easy to remove that, very easy. Remove the brass fitting off and remove the plastic wire fitting off it, and then put the new one on, the brass one. So yeah, I hope that might be of interest. As I say, it was going to be an outdoor job today, but unfortunately I've come inside, and I was cleaning this up the other day and only noticed this problem with the taps. They'd been all right up until this point. They were turning on and off. And just as a quick secondary thought there, what I mean by the pump cycling, if we turn that on, if we turn the galley tap on, you can probably hear, you can see that light flashing actually. If we turn it on a bit more, we've only got it. The pump is obviously cycling there now. And then the pump switches off, you can stop hearing that, just come back on. Obviously if your pump does keep cycling and you're hearing that noise cutting in and out regularly, do check around. You might have a leak somewhere. The pump should only run obviously when you turn a tap on. It might not come on to start with because you might have an accumulator tank to keep the pressure up in the system, so it might take a few seconds to cut in. But say if your pump does keep cycling like that, have a look round, definitely, because as I say, I'm pleased I did, and I'm one of these people that, as you know, this is purely a holiday boat, a pleasure boat. It's not lived on. I always make sure the pump is turned off. The control panel up here, can you see water there? When I go, in fact, I even turn the batteries off. So there we go. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Please do comment. And as I say, thank you to everyone again, and we shall be back with more videos very soon. Bye for now.